Are you looking to get sweaty on the ladder? Well, let's take a look at the top 3 performing decks for standard best of 1 according to Untapped. Alright, before we look at the decks, let me just explain what's going on in this video, since it is the first in this maybe long-running series. We'll see. The idea here is that I'm going to look at the data on Untapped and, well, show you the top 3 performing decks. In addition to showing you what the decks are like and talking a little bit about the decks, I'm going to also run the decks through a bunch of games and pick out the video that best represents what this deck is all about. That way, if you are interested in one of the top performing decks, you can see the deck, and before you craft it, you can also see how it performs in this video. The idea is pretty neat, I think. I know other people do top 10 lists or what have you, but I wanted to show gameplay off as well. So if you could continue to help me out, a little bit of growth, we're doing well with the channel, hit that subscribe button if you can, like the video, and then more importantly, comment down below, what do you think about this video format? Do you like the idea? Do you think there's some potential here? And would you like to see it in other formats, especially standard best of 3, maybe historic and pioneer as well? So yeah, that's it. Let's take a look at the top 3 performing decks for this Final Fantasy Standard as of the middle of July. Number 3. Alright, we are well and truly into an aggro meta in the best of 1 arena over on Standard, probably to nobody's surprise, and the number 3 best performing deck with a 56.6% win rate, which I'll come back to in a second, is Selesnya Rabbits. Now, the meta is pretty tight. The top performing decks are all like a few percentage points away from each other, and even the A decks compared to the B and C tier decks are not really separated by that many percentage points. So right now the format seems very open. I think a lot of people are just experimenting, maybe revisiting old decks that are rotating very soon. They just want to get their last hurrah out, and yeah, people are having fun. So there's a lot of variance on the ladder, it seems. This Selesnya Rabbits deck is, well, looking to go aggressive and, more importantly, super wide. We have our most important 1-drop in the Valley of the Might Caller. This thing is going to get bigger and bigger every time a frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel, most importantly a rabbit, enters the battlefield. This has some great synergy with, coming down on turn 1, we have a whole bunch of turn 2 plays, and then if you can land a turn 3 hop to it for 3 CMC, it's creating 3 white 1/1 rabbits. This thing is going to be huge. Your Might Caller is going to be slamming in, notably with trample, every turn after the first, so this thing needs to be answered. To help your team grow, because there is so much spot removal in Standard right now, 4 copies of Paw Patch Recruiter is great. The addition of being able to put this out with an offspring to have 2 of these creatures that are triggering every time your opponents target one of your creatures is absolutely fantastic. 4 copies of the Seasoned Warren Guard. This thing, it's okay. It's going to get a little bit bigger. It's a 3/2 if we're attacking with tokens on the field, which much of the time we are going to be doing that. In the 3 slot, we have our Lord, of course. We have our Mentor that's going to be getting big since we are going super wide. This card can get up to a pretty high power level just by turn 3 or 4, as long as the opponent hasn't wiped us out. And then 2 copies of Phineas, another pseudo lord who is going to be putting +1/+1 counters on our rabbits and our tokens, but they're all going to be rabbits whenever he attacks. A little bit of protection also in the 2 slot, Sheltered by Ghost. This is a great thing to remove a pesky blocker that could allow us to swing in for a cheeky lethal. And then at the very top end, the card that is most important to be mentioning right now is the Knight Errant of Eos. This deck is pretty resistant to rotation. It's rotation resistant is what I meant to say, except for the Knight Errant of Eos. Now, we're only playing 2 copies of it. It's a fantastic card that's going to allow us to dig deeper into our deck, especially if we are only needing to really convoke it for 2, because most of our deck is 1 and 2 CMC. But the Knight Errant is, of course, a very powerful card, but it is disappearing. I don't think the deck is going to take too much of a hit without it, but for now, we have access to it, so why not play it? We also have 3 copies of the Warren War Leader, which is not rotating, most of the deck is not. It's sticking around because of Bloomburrow, I think is the set. This thing, it's going to be an offspring potential. I think most of the time you're just putting it out, and when it attacks, it's going to be either increasing our team that is swinging in if it's wide enough, or it's going to help us go wide by creating a 1/1 rabbit creature token. Then the last card, a single copy of Fun of, I guess, of Season of the Burrow. Personally, haven't played it out yet, but it seems okay. I don't know. This card, I think you could probably end up just removing it and putting in like a third copy of Phineas if you don't want to waste a mythic wild card on it. Over in the lands pretty much what you would expect. We do have to make note that Razor Verge Thicket and Brushland are both leaving Standard in 20 days, maybe less now at this point, at the start of August. So I would caution you around crafting either of these cards. We do have some other options in the land slot that are going to be better. You could be using, oopsie, let me click through here. We could be using the Verge. Where is it? There it is. Hushwood Verge is a fine replacement for Brushland. Unfortunately, Edge of Eternities is bringing us some shocklands, but it is not bringing us the Selesnya shockland. In the future, we may end up seeing that, but for now, we are going to be a little bit pinched. I think Selesnya decks just have to wait until the following set after Edge of Eternity. I'm sure we'll get the Selesnya land then. Fingers crossed. But Hushwood Verge would be a better craft than the Brushland. And then for the Razor Verge Thicket, I think probably the best card that we can replace that with is the Starting Town. I should have clicked. Starting Town. This thing, similar idea to the Razor Verge Thicket, is essentially a fast land for turns 1, 2, and 3. It's going to cost us a little bit of life to produce that mana, but in the end, it's going to be doing the same thing as the Razor Verge Thicket. So the lands, with the exception of these 8, are going to be fine. We have 2 copies of Cavern of Souls. We could up that to 4 if you're a little bit short on other lands. We also have the Oak Hollow Village, which is a utility land that's, well, it's going to put a +1/+1 counter on each of our rabbits if we use this. Each rabbit that entered this turn, notably. And then only a single copy of the village up here. We can sacrifice this land, look at the top 6 cards of our library, and reveal a rabbit card from among them, put it into our hand. So if we're flooding out a bit, this might be a card to crack and try to find a little bit of action in the form of maybe a Warren War Leader, or I don't know, you know, some of these cards are pretty good on their own. However, the deck is very synergistic. It needs that mass, and I think if we do get board wiped, it's going to be very hard to recover. However, we have a very good early 1, 2, 3 punch, and I think a lot of decks are going to have a very hard time dealing with the power output of rabbits. Rabbits on the ladder, we have no 1 CMC card, a little bit of a shame, but I still think with the Valley Quest Caller and the Hop to It, we're probably in pretty good shape. That being said, I think I'm actually going to go out with Phineas first. I think having the ability to attack in with the Phineas is probably going to be quite important once we get all of the little rabbit tokens on the field. So Phineas, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. They do not have to be attacking. So Phineas on 2, Hop to It on turn 3, and then pump all of those little creatures up to, wow, this is going to be nice, up to 2/2s. This is exactly what the deck wants to be doing. On the following turn, we're going to land, probably the Quest Caller would be really great to hit another 2-drop, oh my goodness, and things are really going to go out of control. Also do have the option of not swinging in necessarily and using the Knights Errant, so we have some options. The opponent playing out a Sword of Once and Future, doing some cool stuff. Kellen to go search for more. Ooh, got the Chainsword. Okay, good. Taking out my Phineas, which probably they had to do that. So we do not hit a 2 CMC spell. I kind of don't hate doing the Knights Errant for X3. We don't attack this turn, and we try to dig for another. Yeah, let's dig for another 2 CMC. So then we'll do this. We'll go out with the Valley Quest Caller at very worst, and then the following turn, ooh, no. We're going out with Phineas. Oh, Okay, we find a replacement for Phineas. Next turn, double Quest Caller or Season of the Burrow. We could also go out with this if we wanted to. Return target permanent card, mana value 3 or less from our graveyard. That's not really going to do anything. Exile target non-land permanents. Controller draws a card. So we have a couple of options for the following turn. I love this deck. I want to play a little bit more of it. I really wish it were good in best of 3, but I think it's going to mostly be shining in the best of 1 format. If they... Oh my. Okay, so this is going out. Let's do some quick math. If I do both of these, we're going to have 4 more. They're going to be 4... These are going to be 5 5s. This is going to not get any buffs, so it's just going to be a 4/4, and then Phineas will be a 4/4. So they'll end up having to block one of these 5s, so then we'll be getting in for 18 damage, which I think is lethal. And that is hopefully calculated properly. And that should be 18 points of damage. This deck is insane. Rabbits for you. Run your opponent over by turn, especially 4 or 5. If they don't have any kind of significant interaction against you, rabbits are just absolutely out of control. They go incredibly wide, and the power up from the Valley Quest Caller, the Phineas, just absolutely ludicrous. Oh, okay, well, we have the interaction. The problem is our mana and not being able to cast out the Sheltered by Ghosts. Maybe it's still a keep, because if we go turn 1, oh my god, it's such a bad hand actually, right? It's praying that a draw gets us there, and I think it's probably... Oh, we are on the draw though. Do you keep this? Glory. We go for glory. We keep all 7. I see a lot of potential. Never punished. Never, ever, ever punished. You just say a little bit of a prayer, and you get there. Now the opponent... Ooh, yeah, that's a... Some of the designs of these cards, I thought this was an island. I was about to say that the opponent is on, like, Teamer, red, green, blue. That is a very cool card, though. What is this thing? Warmonger. Haste. Whenever this creature attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a dragon card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of the library in any order. So, I cannot do the Knights Errant this turn. I could do the Mistcaller plus the Sheltered by Ghost. I actually don't really hate that. I think it's probably fine. So let's put it on the... I think we're putting it here. We want the Mistcaller to be less enticing to the opponent's removal. If they spend a turn trying to kill the Warren Guard, though, that's fine. That's fine. We definitely want a Plains. That's less fine. It's still fine, but it's less fine. So we put this out on Rabbit, and we hop to it. And then I think we Knights Errant. And we hit... Oh, when the Knights Errant misses like that, your arm starts to hurt, your chest starts to feel a little bit tight, like, and then the opponent does their Storm Dragon thing, which, that's bad. Wow. Wee wow. Okay. The cool thing is, we do get to put a lot of pressure on the opponent. We do get to get some of our life back. So we will put this on the token, and we will swing in with the entire team. The Seasoned Warren Guard over there gets a little bit bigger. They could choose to block it, but it is a 4/2. They would trade with the Scion. They would get their, whatever this thing is, what is it? Warmonger back. Ooh. So they block... Math is for blockers, and sometimes the blockers don't math. Sure. The position we were in, I'll take that. I'll take that all day. Rabbits, even whiffing with the knight errant, still get there. Number 2. Next up in the 2 slot, and probably to nobody's surprise, it is Rakdos aggro. This is a mono red deck. Don't kid yourself. The only reason it is Rakdos is because it is playing 4 copies of the Callous Sellsword. Now, I have personally been experimenting with a lot of red decks, trying to find the right combination of decks, cards to make a burn deck, a new aggro deck, a mouse deck, and boy oh boy, it has not really been working out for me. This version of the deck is different from anything that I've put together because it is all in pretty much on this Cacophony Scamp. The deck revolves around just a handful of creatures. We have the Cacophony Scamp, the Monastery Swiftsphere, and the Slickshot Show-Off. We also do have 4 copies of the Red Mage's Rapier, which will be job select, so that is a notable thing. This is not a job select card. It will create a 1/1. So in effect, we have 16 creatures, but our main 3, the 12 copies that we have in this row right here. Very notable. This deck is not surviving rotation, so please be careful going into it. Thankfully, this deck is pretty budget. The only card that is of rare or mythic to craft is the Slickshot Show-Off, and this card is sticking around in Standard, and this card probably will be a powerhouse to have in your collection. So I wouldn't feel too bad about crafting this deck. It's just going to cost you a bunch of uncommon and common wild cards. Probably you have a good number of these cards already in your collection. However, Monastery Swiftspear and Cacophony Scamp are both rotating out of the format in August, so neither of these cards will be around to enable the nonsense in this deck. The whole concept behind the deck, of course, is to pump up mostly your Scamp. You can do it with your other creatures, and then, like I said, you want to fling it in with the Sellsword. There's nothing too complicated behind this deck. It does what it does. Alright, see if we can one-trick our opponents. We have the Slick Shot, but we don't have our 1 CMC spells. Still, with Wild Ride giving haste, I think if we end up peeling a Cacophony Scamp, it could be pretty good. We will plot out the Ruckus and see what we can end up doing. I think what the plan is going to be, depending on what the opponent's doing with Simic over there, it's definitely not... Ooh. Okay. So we got a couple of avenues going on here. This is pretty nice. We did hit the Cacophony Scamp. We do have the 2 pump spells. Next turn, if they have a Dirtle turn, okay, let's go. This is why you play the deck. This is the fun part. Okay, Cacophony Scamp, the Demonic Ruckus, why not? We Wild Ride the Cacophony Scamp. We turn the Cacophony Scamp inside out, and this is a turn 3 kill. That is insane. It's even 3 points of damage over. Oh, gotta take the action first. Woo-hoo. And did I have fun? I don't know. That's the one-trick potential of this deck. If you can end up pulling off the ideal run, that's what you're going to end up doing with this deck. I think don't rely on this happening so often. Nobody had fun in this one. You know what? Even for my opponent, I did not have fun. It's a stupid deck. But if you are looking to do this and just run over your opponent and have 1-minute games, this might be the deck for you. Especially, hey, it's very budgety. Whew, insane. Alright, you saw the combo. I don't think it's only fair to show the absolutely absurd draw with this deck, so I'm also going to throw in one more video of this deck doing something a little bit... the problem with this deck is that it kind of is just the one-trick deck. So you either kind of do the stupid thing or you don't do the stupid thing. So it is what it is. Still, I wanted to show another one where, well, maybe it's not only, you know, blowing your opponent over. Okay. Do I push in for more damage? I could get another 3 damage in. I'm gonna choose not to. Just poke them a little bit. Hope they stumble one more turn, and then maybe we get a second silly kill. Oh, Demonic Ruckus. Sure, we'll do it this way. We're gonna go a little bit slower. make ourselves wonderfully vulnerable to the opponent. Did we have lethal there? Well, it was a 2/2. It would have been an 8/8. No, I think we were 1 point damage short. Vanishing Light. And this is what happens when you mess around and you find out Vanishing Light messing you up. But we get the follow-up. Ooh, you know what? I like just plotting the Slick Shot, and then maybe next turn Monastery Swift Spear, Slick Shot, plus some spells. Could be really cool. They have a synthesizer, so I think this is our last turn to be able to get in a little bit of damage. We draw a land that is fantastic. And this is the other thing that you can do with this deck. I wanted to show that this deck could kill in other ways. You don't just need to rely on the Cacophony Scamp. You can play poorly and not get lethal, and then just swing in with your other creatures. So it is potent from many different angles. Plot out your ruckuses, plot out your slick shots, and then, well, when the coast is clear, when your opponent has taken a turn off, you find your slot, you slam in with all of your haste or haste enabling cards like the Felonious Rage, and, well, they die. Mono red, doing mono red stuff. Number 1. And the deck that is just performing a little bit better than the regular aggro deck is Goblins, which is pretty neat. Another mono red deck, big surprise. Goblins in the standard have a 58.2% win rate, and the deck looks pretty sweet. I've been looking to place Goblins for a long time, which is actually what prompted me to start this new series. I just wanted to have an excuse to play Goblins. I have been sitting on the idea of crafting the Horde Master for such a long time, and I finally personally pulled the trigger. This is my big warning for this deck. Horde Master is rotating out in August with the rotation, so be very careful about crafting this deck. Everything else is staying in the format, actually. Not a single other card is going to be rotating out, so there could be potential for this deck to find a replacement for the Horde Master. It is pretty much just a Lord. It does another cool thing, but when you lose a Lord in a tribal deck, things can get a little bit funky. So go into this one with caution. The reason I crafted this deck is because I've been looking to play Goblins in Pioneer, and this is a card that I'm going to want personally at some point. But I figured I would play this, show you a little bit of how the deck functions so that you will know how to deal with it if you end up going against it in the format. Essentially, this is a combo deck. We are playing one of the most important cards, Krenko Mob Boss. This creates X/1/1 red goblin creatures, compared to where X is the number of goblins that you have. So if you have 3 on the field, you tap this guy, suddenly you have 6, and then you're going to have 12, and so forth. Every turn after that, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Other very notable activated ability goblin that we have is the Howl's Squad Heavy. When we have max speed in this deck, we can tap and add red mana for each goblin we control. So these 2 activated abilities are absolutely massive, and those are the ones that we want to put under Agatha's Soul Cauldron. The Soul Cauldron allows us to exile a target card from a graveyard, and when a creature card is exiled this way, we put a +1/+1 counter on a creature that we control. Then any creature that has a +1/+1 counter on it gets the activated ability of all of our other cards. So if we can get a Krenko or a Heavy under the Soul Cauldron, get a couple of creatures on our field with +1/+1 counters on them, well, suddenly things can get a little bit crazy. So we want to try to go against super wide, roll over our opponent, and maybe do a little bit of combo stuff with this one. Oh, I want Goblins to be a good deck so badly. We have our 3 lands, we have a little bit of interaction, and then we have a 2 and a 3 drop. So I think it's fine. We don't have the 1 CMC. We really want to get max speed going, or start your engines going right from turn 1, so that you can keep poking in and getting this fella online. This is the big payoff that we want to work up towards. Our land here enables max speed as well, so if we want to, on the following turn, we could start doing a bit of damage. Like, I could throw the lightning bolt at them, but I think that's a little hasty. So let's develop the board a little bit. We put our Draconautics Engineer, Draconautics, wow, onto the field. Exhausting for 3 or for 4 to make a flying dragon, kind of interesting. The opponent getting frisky with the Cacophony Scamp. And they have... we're dead on the next turn, maybe. If we don't kill the Cacophony Scamp. Thankfully, we do have a way of dealing with this. As soon as it's on the field, it did its damage. There's nothing we can really do about it having haste, but it's now removed from the field. So, okay. That's fine. Misplay there. I probably just attack in with the Goblin first, before things. Thankfully, I had a follow-up haste person to come in and get the engines going. Haste person. Yes, this Goblet Pirate Monkey boy is definitely a person. And I guess we just go out with... I don't know. What do we go out with? We be efficient with our things? Sure. Yeah, this is going to start spewing out goblins as well. So, start of turn. I don't think they really have all that much interaction, so the opponent probably in a pretty bad spot because they really rely heavily on the Slick Shot, which they haven't plotted, and a Cacophony Scamp. Now, the Cacophony Scamp could come in and they could haste it up, but holding up this Burst Lightning is going to be key for winning this game. I think we might actually just be able to run away with it at this point, though. Okay. Yeah, let's go. Even the Horde Master gets to get in because the fella here is giving haste to all of our goblins. We're attacking. Next turn is lethal if they don't have something to kill us, and they have to get around this Burst Lightning. So, position I think looks okay. However, 5 mana with that deck. Yeah, kind of what the Goblin deck does. We didn't see the combo, so I think... although this is a nice representation of the deck, I'm going to run it through one more and try to find that combo, because I know you all want to see that combo. Okay, let's do some Krenko stuff. I really want to see Krenko hitting the field, making a whole bunch of goblins. We got the Krenko, we got the heavies, we got 3 heavies. It's a little too heavy. And we only have 2 lands. But let's imagine a world where we go turn 2... That's not what I want to see. That's okay, fine. We draw our land, and then we're going to hit a 2 CMC spell, and then we're going to play out our 3 CMC, and we're also going to hit a land. It's fine, I guess. Okay, let's get in with the Burnout fella here. Now, the opponent is on Dimir, meaning interaction. And interaction means bad news for our... Krenko. However, maybe they don't have that much interaction. If we hit the 4th land and we're able to go heavy into Krenko, there's our land. There's our land. Okay, let's do this. No interaction, please. I think I'm... dang. Puts us off. So next turn, I was thinking we could have haste with Krenko. Right, that's what you want. But we are up to 3 max speed. We do have 2 more heavies, so I think we're going to slow roll this Krenko and just wait for the opportunity to present itself where we're going to be able to get the heavy and the mob boss on the field. That being said, here comes a Kaito. Kaito, bad news. We are actually on a little bit more of a clock than I would want to be on, and... now I'm wondering, is it actually the heavy, or is it the Krenko this turn, and just hope to... No. It has to be heavy, hope we survive the turn, and then go from there. We do... okay, attack. There you go. We do have to attack. I may as well go after Kaito here. They're going to put the Cecil in front of the 1/1. That's fine. They take 2 damage from that. We go up to 4 max speed. So now we are double striking with our burnouts. And if they don't hit this heavy, okay, we could be in a position to see some pretty cool stuff. We are taking a wee bit of damage here. Oh, okay. I like that play by the opponent. The opponent shocking in the Mastermind puts them at 12 life, which puts them at 10 life, which gives them Cecil, the Redeemed Paladin. They are at 2 mana though now, so it's possible they don't have interaction. Okay, they only have one card that we don't know about. Oh, the Hort, that's huge. Okay, Krenko. Please, please, please. Come on. Ooh, this Dimir deck is the lamest stuff. I hate it. You know what? It's fine. But I'm not going to do the thing that is as cool as I wanted to. It's fine. Because now I can't get out the heavy. But what we can do is play this out, and we tap this fella, and we attack like this. I think it's actually enough damage, but I didn't count. I really wanted the heavy out too, because getting the heavy out would have given us so much more mana. We could have, well, I mean, what were we going to use the mana for? We were using the mana to maybe pump up these boys. Yeah, that's what we would have used it for. Whatever. Opponent, thinking you're getting one over me, countering my poor Krenko, whatever that happened. Hey, there's the Krenko kill. That's what you want to do. So, pretty neat. Once you get these on the field, things obviously just out of nowhere. I really wanted to go full torque. Whatever. Goblins, always cool. Alright, so those are the top 3 performing decks in the standard best of 1 ranked ladder right now. Let me know what you thought about this video format, if you want to see more from the future, or if you want me to make some tweaks to it. I would love to hear some of your suggestions. That's it for this video. Take care for now. See you in the next one. Bye bye.